Welcome, Screen Fiend fans. This is your boy Carcino here, and definitely support the Cash App and support the page. Subscribe to Screen Fiend right now. Hit that Cash App out. Carcino, Karceno. Because if it wasn't for people donating to the page and hitting up the Cash App and doing what they're doing, this video right now would not be taking place. Seriously. You wanted it? Here it is. And this is a spoiler warning right now. If you don't want to know anything about Spider-Man Far From Home, do not listen to this video right now. There are other videos in the timeline that we have in the Screen Fiend catalog that would fit you better. Enjoy yourself. Everyone else, if you stayed, welcome. Now, we'll try to do this quick, fast, in a hurry. Hopefully it doesn't spoil too much for you. The Spider-Man Far From Home plot leak and everything has basically been released, and it's been pretty much loose lips on this one. Everybody's kind of like relieved that they can now talk about Endgame. They didn't give a damn about Spider-Man. So we have a very valid, solid script from Spider-Man Far From Home. And it kind of fits everything up and links everything with the trailers that we see to know how accurate the script really is. The movie opens with Spider-Man being on a private jet with Happy being flown back home with Aunt May, and he's crying and he's, just saddened by this entire movement, where you see Happy tells him that Tony wouldn't have made this sacrifice if he didn't know Spider-Man, wouldn't be around, so that gave him some solace and everything, and he gets back home, he's trying to get to normal, and do what he's doing. Aunt May is trying to cheer him up. He's back in school, he's trying to get back to normal. It was good to see his friends again, and get back to his neighborhood, where they go ahead and, he's catching these bad guys, and then they were talking about taking a trip. The school was going to go visit Venice, London, and Prague, a whole European trip, and he was just like, I don't know about leaving the neighborhood, and they go to this charity event, and, everywhere he goes, he sees Tony, and it's kind of hard for him, and he's seeing the murals painted everywhere as they, of course they fast forwarded some time. And people painted murals of Tony everywhere, and he just couldn't escape it. So he decides to take a break, but not before they go to a charity event. And, he's basically giving out money and doing things that Tony wanted him to do as far as this charity thing. And Happy's there, and they meet up and they talk, and Aunt May tells him, like, look, you don't have to be Iron Man. No one wants you to be Iron Man, just be Spider-Man. So he's getting ready to take this trip. He wants to leave Spider-Man behind for a while and just, just be a kid and have fun. So as he packs for his trip, he sees his Spider-Man suits, and he closes the closet, locks his bag, and he's getting ready to leave and go to Prague. So as he goes overseas without his suit, without everything, he's over there, and all these things are happening, and blah, blah, blah. Ned, his buddy, jokes as Happy was trying to inform him that Nick Fury was trying to get in contact with him. He kept blowing off Nick Fury. So he gets to Prague. His friend Ned's with him and saying, man, it's kind of crazy how we got a friend who's modeling now in college. And we're the same age. We were the same age and we were in school. Now he's modeling in college and we're still in high school. That's crazy. How that's happened. Which shows and ties into Endgame's the 5-year time gap. As you see, some of the students actually graduated and went on to college to do other things. Now some of these kids who disappeared, who were Peter friends, seem like all of them guys vanished at the same time. So luckily for them, they're all together. But some of the guys you don't see, this is a good way of explaining certain characters they didn't bring back from Homecoming. Most of them, they say, oh, okay, well, they just went on, got older, and went on to other places. So, obviously, all of these people disappeared together. They all vanished, including Flash. So now, that is mentioned in this film. Now, there's actually some people that are saying that we're going to get the Spider back for all he's done, and this and that. And he meets up with Nick Fury, who comes in his room. We see that in the trailer. He explains to him. He takes him to an underground Avengers headquarters in Venice, where he explains to him that you're needed. Tony Stark's not here. Thor's off-world, right along with Captain Marvel. It's just you. Spider-Man doesn't want to do it. And he's like, well, we got these things that came over here. These elementals. Now, the elementals, you know those, Huron. You have one that's rock, one that controls fire, one that controls wind, from the old Elementals comics. And he's saying we're having this problem, and when the snap happened, it opened up a portal between two worlds, and here's this guy coming over from another world to deal with these elementals. Now, the first one shows up is this big old water elemental that comes up out of nowhere and starts going crazy, and Spider-Man can't stop him. Oh yeah, but before all that, Spider-Man was given the black suit because he's like, I can't be seen. Spider-Man can't be seen swinging around here with my friends on a European trip. Spider-Man can't be seen swinging around in Venice. He was like, well, he gave him a prototype suit. That's when you see the black suit where he's sneaking around in to try to figure out things. You know, he's in this black cat suit going around because he didn't want to get known or seen in the Spidey suit. Now, as he's fighting these elementals, he can't do anything about it. You know, and as he's not having any effect, his webs, no matter what he's doing, these elementals are just too much for him. And here comes Mysterio to save the day. And, you know, he's just frustrated that he has no way of, you know, helping, and that his help doesn't work. And he's like, oh, you know, Mysterio's like, don't worry about it. You know, it's only this way because, you know, I have a relationship with I know them. They're from my planet. I know how to attack them. So, you know, don't get frustrated by it. You know, it's because now he's getting famous from it. This Mysterio, he's getting the fame and the attention of a superhero. This new superhero comes out of nowhere. So something seems off by this, but, you know, first Spider-Man is like on, you know, Mysterio's side and looking to him as his new Tony Stark. You know, and he's kind of like an uncle, like sitting there giving him the, you know, messages, a shoulder to cry on. Then the fire Elemental shows up and almost kills his friends. Mary Jane almost dies. Spider-Man saves her, and he notices something different as he sees a little electronical thing on the Elemental that he managed to separate from the Elemental, which makes him think that these are more robots or illusions, and that something might be going wrong here with Mysterio. He might not be who he says he is, and he might be creating these situations. So he puts on the black suit, he investigates more into the situation, but he realizes, I don't even have my Spider-Man suit. Then he realizes that Aunt May snuck the suit into one of his bags, so he did have his Spider-Man suit. Be the Spider-Man, babe. Be the Spider-Man. So MJ figures out he's Spider-Man. He confesses that he is. Right when he was going to tell her how much he loved her, she guesses already that he's Spider-Man. So a big battle ensues. Spider-Man takes the black suit that he has, mixed with his regular Spider-Man suit, and uses the new technology that you see him when he tries it on his arm. He modifies that as a way to fight the elementals. And he figures that Mysterio is working to try to, make these incidents, and him being the hero to stop them, just to make himself look good. So once his plan is exposed, Mysterio turns his attack on Spider-Man. Then Captain, as you see, they have the Vulture, they have everybody there. Like 4 of the Sinister guys who all want to get their hands on Spider-Man. And Mysterio's there, they all get into a big fight. Spider-Man realizes that he can use the gadget on his arm to control everybody, so he says, why not? He creates illusions himself with the little arm piece that he got on his arm, and he makes Iron Man and Captain America. And they're all fighting alongside Spider-Man. And they defeat the other holograms or whatever they were of magic. They're defeated. And Spider-Man has a heart-to-heart with Tony, even though it's just artificial. He has a heart-to-heart with it. Then he lets it go. Now, as he goes back, remember, time had went past. I think a year had went past or so before, he went over to the UK or whatever to get a break and all this stuff. When he comes back home, not a year later, I'm talking about before the after the funeral, there's about a year gap in between. Then they go from there on, But anyhow, they go from there to actually show the old Avengers compound. And the old Avengers compound is now owned by Norman Oscorp. He's rebuilt Norman Oscorp Industries in there. So, and that's how it ends. And we getting ready to see some Norman Oscorp now into this situation. And we probably getting the Sinister Six. And that's Spider-Man Far From Home. It sounds interesting. I'm going to check it out, definitely. And I believe this is 100% accurate. And let me know what you think about it. And don't forget to subscribe to Screen Fiend.